Hashtag the GES crew. Which brings me to this. How important is it to protect your image? Do you think that's important, to protect your image and how you come across to the community and those outside the community?
The most, well, one of the most at the top of the list is image. And it's damaging to us. Our image is really damaged, especially the black male image. Um, even in I was out one day, and I was out in the country, doing a drop out there, and I came up and there was some young white kids out playing, and this is a place I've been several times, and it kind of startled me because the one of the kids, this is a little kid, probably 8, 9 years old, and it was like, oh my God, I thought you were going to kill me, and it wasn't a joke because kids don't necessarily like joke that way. Like that's the way he felt when he saw me, and it made me feel like, well, damn, why would you think? And I said, well, why would you think that, buddy? And he just kind of looked at, didn't say anything else because obviously knew that at that point he had said something that was, probably a little out of bounds. But for our image to perpetuate that is a problem, because we don't even get an opportunity because of what's being slammed in front of us, from entertainment and the music. We have to get control of our parts of entertainment and music because it's being misused to continually brand us worse and worse. We don't get any benefit out of it other than the individual money that those particular artists get. As a group or a community, we don't benefit because we don't own at the level that the other demographic owns in that particular business, and that's why it's controlled, and that's why their image is good and our image is bad. Is because
I mean, I think it's a complete setup.
It is, but once again, that's why we got to stop taking all the cheese. We got to stop taking
you're right, but it's sad because that's not going to happen, right?
But it needs. It's just like you and
because we're talking about
Ronnie
media, right?
Yeah, well, entertainment, like you and Ronnie was saying, it's a controlling your own. I mean, even if you're on these so-called other demographics, businesses, there's a level of responsibility that you have to yourself to say, okay, well, what type of image do I want to put out to the community? Because there's a degree of control that you can have, at certain points in a career, in an entertainment career, that you can be able to, dictate what type of image I want to relay to the people as a whole. You know what I mean? Because if once you reach a level of stardom and you're like, okay, well, I have a buying power, or I have I have power to control who I am, once you get to that level, so I can kind of be able to branch out and kind of do my thing how I want to do it. If you have that level of success to be able to do that, to branch out, it's no reason why there's not that we can't control that on a level where where you, like I said, where if, let's say, Jay-Z level, Nas level. I mean, it's like y'all are, they're at a level where, hey, you can kind of do your own thing and put your music out how you want to put it out or something like that. I mean, if you have a level, that level of power and influence with the community and with your audience and fans, you can be able to kind of branch out to how you want to branch out.
Yeah, I mean, I think when we can only control our image on an individual level. Like we can't control what other artists do. Um, and no matter how successful, we can't control what they do or how they do it, but we can only control our image and how we are. And I'll just say that there's been plenty of times where I've been the only Black person, right? Because I live outside the US. I've been the only Black person that a student of mine actually had a conversation with plenty of
So
time.
That
yeah, and I think that's basically what I was talking about. How important is it when you're, protecting your image? Um,
Yeah,
that
it's the best thing to do is just be who you are. This is what I do. I'm honest. I engage in conversation, and once they have a conversation with me, they're like, "Oh, you're just a person."
Yeah, see now, not to cut you off, but yeah, you're in a unique position to be a representation of you know what
Yeah,
we are as a people, truly are as a people. And that's for all of us, of course, because when we go out here, of course, just like Big said with the young kid that he came up with, there's a perception of what's being sold in the media. So I mean, but if we, as like you said, individuals truly show them, hey, look, hey, I'm just gonna be me and how I am, and they'll know that there's a truth in what they see in us as living people that's actually you can see, as opposed to what they see on the television. You know what I mean? Because
exactly.
contrary to popular culture,
Mhm.
what we are is totally the opposite of that. It's just the the glamorous side of what's being portrayed. That it's a negative and a positive, but the glamour side is what's being
glorified.
pushed out to say, okay, well, hey, this is what people should see, and this is what they should feel like. Okay, well, yeah, this is good. Hey, that's good. I mean, hey, they making money, they rich, they got stacks of money or whatever. But that's not the truth. That's not true. And we have that. There's that negative, you know, you know, consequences that that comes with that. So we can't allow people to see us, as actual individuals in that light. We just
And I
have to.
think and I think that's big, Raymond. Just what you said. I mean, it's so important. Young people actually need to hear that because well, I'm not gonna say we, but a lot of young people get caught up in the surrounding environment, and they get caught up with this entertainment, not realizing it is entertainment. These entertainers are usually not like this in real life. So the biggest thing that I could take out
Yeah.
of that is just stay true to yourself and be who you are, and not try to be like somebody else. I want to move on to the last and final topic. I want to talk about this a little bit before we got off because protect and serve, like I said earlier in the show, is actually the motto of the police, and I want to address that. I wanted to talk about a police person's perspective. How do they feel, and does fear create chaos with them? Because a lot of times you hear policemen talk about they're scared in certain situations, and we've seen in the past 2 years, especially before the pandemic and when the pandemic hit, how certain things took place between Black people in the interaction of the law enforcement.
That's been going on forever. Go ahead.
Um, okay, well, cops and the police force, I mean, this is what we basically see.
I can't remember an interaction with law enforcement that was good for me. I got carjacked They arrived to the scene and they questioned me like, I was in a gang situation. My house got broken into. They showed up late and it was real nonchalant because they were just like, oh, this happens all the time. And, well, this is my house. Can you show some empathy? Can you act like you want to help me through this situation? So, you get pulled over for speeding. Just the interaction. Sometimes they talk to you and they talk down to you. You get pulled over for, let's just say, well, I'll give you an interaction that I had in the 90s with a police officer. I got pulled over in Riverdale, Georgia. The police pulled me over and I asked the officer, why are you detaining me? He said that there was a car in this area reported stolen in the description of yours. So he asked, could he search the car? I said, absolutely not. He said, okay. Well, it looks like we're going to be here for a while because I'm going to get a search warrant so I can search your vehicle. I said, fine. As long as you can provide the paperwork, I'm fine with it. Hour and a half later, he provided the paperwork. I let him search the car. Next thing I know, guns were pulled out on me, and he told me to put my hands on the hood of the car. And the car had been running, so the car is hot, and I tell him this. He said, I don't care. Put your hands on the effing car.
Wow.
They cuffed me, put me in the back of a police car. I said, what is the problem? They said they found a concealed weapon in my car. Do you know that these fools try to lock me up because I had a baseball bat in the hatch of my vehicle?
That's
If it
ridiculous.
wasn't for a black cop coming on the scene, which he happened to be a lieutenant, and telling them to release me at once, I would have went to jail that night for a concealed weapon. So my question is this: how can you say, like Ronnie said, that you're protecting and serving the community when you're acting like that as law enforcement?
Let me ask you this: how did that? After that, what did you do following that up?
Well, I mean, and that's the sad thing about it. I didn't handle it correctly. I was 20 years old.
Right.
I didn't know what to do. I was mad. I wanted to do something to somebody because something had been done to me. Instead of following up correctly, I didn't. I talked to my friends, which they couldn't direct me in the right direction because they're the same age as me.
This is a valuable lesson right here, because these are the things where we need support from the community. And we all know, we know NAACP, we know the Urban League, we know these different things, but we got to reach out to our elders when things like this happen so that they can direct us, because they should have been reprimanded for that. We have to be unyielding, though.
We have to be each other's help. That's
right.
it.
We have to be each other's help, but we also have to continue to be unyielding. We can't take no for an answer, because when you get to certain levels, people will try to do that. They'll try to deter, because all these people are in different positions. And I remember a time where you've got certain people that work in certain positions that know people, and you don't necessarily know that they are part of the chain of the blocking. So sometimes you got to go around people that say no, because if you know you're right, you got to get to the point. And it's stressful. Other communities don't have to go through this. It's stressful for us, but this is how we start to make waves, because our level of persistence has to step up, and it has to step up in all categories. I still don't understand. Now, I understand how power works. Power is a very dominant situation, and that's in the United States. Everything is about domination. That's what it's all about. Don't let anyone confuse you and say it's about this, about that. It is about complete domination. That is what the point of the United States. That's why the more money you have, the more power you have, and the more control and the more things you're able to dominate with your cash. But when we as a culture get in certain positions, even those guys, the guys that like Rami mentioned earlier, some of the guys at the top financially that have the resources, well, you know what? They only have so much power, because they know that their wealth is contained or controlled or involved with other people as well. And if they speak out, now they're impacted. So it's a double-edged sword in so many different ways, but I think the solution is we have to continue to move. We have to continue to believe. We have to really understand the power of thought. The first thing that happens before you do anything, you have a thought. And then one of the greatest examples of thought is a man by the name of Walt Disney. He thought about what now is Disney World, and he has been dead for decades. And it has grown into more than what he initially thought it was going to be, but it all came from a thought. And what happens is if you continue to move and you can continue to believe, people will come to your aid. The only way that things can't happen is if you stop. You got an idea, you start and you stop. You have to continue to pursue. It's not going to be easy, but that's part of the course or the path to get to your final destination, is that you have to continue to move and you have to believe in what you believe. Because if you don't believe in what you're doing, nobody else will either.
Yeah, I just wanted to piggyback. That's great what you just said, Big. I think just to piggyback off that, we have to go inwards now. You know what I'm saying? We all have to kind of tap into our spirituality, because that's where I think our power is. You know what I mean? It's not about force against force anymore. I think we are powerful people beyond measure, and we have to tap into our real power.
Like, this ain't no game you just try to jump in and just be a part of. You got to have some decades behind you to really be effective.
And you better have that backbone, because my first experience with spades, I'm gonna tell you, put me down. The old heads was out there in their chairs, got the little domino pieces on the side. And I just knew I was going to be big thing. I'm going to strategize this. I ain't going to overbid. And did a double. We doubled our bid. He told me, you better get the fuck up off my table. And I'm a little girl. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a little girl. Like, how you going to say that to a little girl? I'm looking at this man like, did you really just say, I want to call my mother right now? But hey, I sat at the grown man table. I got what I got.